Romantic comedies, better known as rom-coms, have long been a Hollywood staple, typically serving up light-hearted fare to love-starved audiences. But the genre is also guilty of perpetrating toxic stereotypes and encouraging unhealthy behaviors. Moreover, the chances of these trends changing anytime soon are as likely as Harvey Weinstein getting out of prison and green-lighting your screenplay. Although classics like Annie Hall and When Harry Met Sally are universally cherished, moviegoers have also had to endure cringe-worthy films that border on crimes against humanity. Yes, Jiggly, we're talking about you. So without any further ado, let's today look at the top 10 things that rom-coms get wrong. Number 10. Love at first sight. Theoretically, it's possible to feel a flood of emotions when gazing at someone for the first time, but it's usually just lust or curiosity that first grabs our attention. Love, however, is a complex beast. Mixed metaphorically speaking, hitting a home run at the very first Kentucky Derby is the stuff of dreams. Meaningful relationships often require extra innings, relying on more than just performance in the saddle to determine compatibility. For example, in Sleepless in Seattle, Meg Ryan's character doesn't even need a visual cue. Instead, she dumps her fiancé and falls head over heels for Tom Hanks' voice. Sure, this 90s classic is undeniably winsome, but that doesn't justify questionable morals and speculative actions. Number 9. Happily Ever After. In Kate and Leopold, Kate is a big city go-getter. It's Meg Ryan again, who, spoiler alert, must travel back in time at the end of the film to get her man. She eventually falls into the arms of an impossibly charming Duke Hugh Jackman and presumably lives happily ever after. Although waltzing in the 19th century may seem whimsical, it's a safe bet a fiercely independent woman like Kate won't appreciate her limited career opportunities, nor not being allowed to vote for that matter. Sadly, Kate and Leopold would probably end up being more like Sid and Nancy. In a Chicago Tribune article exploring romantic myths, sociologist Chantel Tibbles has this to say about Hollywood endings. Reality is not so seamless. Tragedy happens, life happens, people just grow in different directions. Number 8. Makeover Magic. Sometimes all it takes is a new do and a touch of makeup to find true love, well, at least in the rom-coms anyway. From dowdy to dazzling, we've all seen this strategy deployed in countless films such as Clueless, Princess Diaries, and Miss Congeniality. The main flaw with the strategy is that attractive actors are made to look homely before their transformation from caterpillar to butterfly. Anyone who's ever cohabited is fully aware that bedhead and morning breath are all part of the deal. In short, couples willing to accept their partner's true self have a better chance of staying together, warts and all. Number 7. Love conquers all. Not unlike superglue, this well-worn trope claims that a simple 4-letter word can fix anything. The rom-com canon has repeatedly taught us that he or she can cheat, have a criminal record, lousy credit, bad breath, bad manners, and terrible taste in music, but it simply doesn't matter because of love. Unfortunately, reality tells a different story. A substantial drop in males attending college has led to a mating crisis that not even love can remedy. Women now make up nearly 60% of US college students, a gender gap that's only getting wider. According to NYU professor Scott Galloway, popular dating apps reveal that men holding college degrees receive far more attention than those without higher education. As a result, quoting Galloway, "You have the most dangerous person in the world who's a broken, alone male, and we are producing too many of them. The mating inequality that's going to come out of this death of men in college poses an existential risk to our economy and our society." Number 6. Stalking is harmless. The adage, if at first you don't succeed, try and try again, is perfectly acceptable with regards to finding a job or competitive sports. But when it comes to relationships, movies often take a more militaristic tone. Hunt down the target by air, land, or sea until they eventually wave the white flag. This is not only a depraved message, but it could also have grave consequences. A 2015 study at the University of Michigan revealed that women who watched films such as There's Something About Mary become more tolerant of aggressive male behavior. In the report, author Julia R. Lippman suggests that several popular rom-coms feature men and women characters with similar tendencies as stalkers. Quote, "I was inspired to pursue this research by observing that stalking often seems to be trivialized in our culture. This depiction of relentless pursuit is especially dangerous because it can encourage women to discount their instincts." Number 5. Being single is for losers. One of the most egregious misrepresentations found in rom-coms is the notion that singles can never achieve happiness. Apparently, all personal and professional achievements overwhelmingly pale in comparison to one's relationship status. For example, in Bridget Jones's Diary, Renée Zellweger plays the frumpy eponymous character obsessed with not dying fat and alone. She ultimately becomes trapped in a messy love triangle and must endure a series of awkward, boozy humiliations along the way. Common sense dictates that she'd be far better off alone. Based on Helen Fielding's best-selling novel, the film trilogy also shows the normalization of sexual harassment in the workplace. In a recent interview, Fielding said that she wouldn't have been able to write the story now, and the amount of sexism made it quite shocking for me to see how things have changed since then. Number 4. The Soulmate Theory. Hopeless romantics are quick to embrace this warm and fuzzy concept, believing that there are ideal matches out there waiting for them. But do soulmates actually exist? Well, maybe they do, maybe they don't. And that's all Tinseltown needs to keep peddling this feel-good fodder to the popcorn-munching masses with fables like serendipity and only you. Merriam-Webster defines a soulmate as a person who is perfectly suited to another in temperament. Nonetheless, some top-level shrinks warn that the most blissful unions still take lots of hard work to stay on track. This expectation paves the way for significant disappointment, says Sabrina Romanoff, PhD, a clinical psychologist at Lenox Hill Hospital in New York City. Quote, "Instead, replace the idea of finding your soulmate with creating one through years of learning about them, navigating challenges, creating a family, and loving each other through all the happy and hard times." Number 3. Contra Affairs. Fade in. Boy meets girl. Boy flirts with girl over a few drinks in a dimly lit bar. We learn that she's studying for her master's in English Lit. Well, he can barely scribble his name in the mud with a stick. Regardless, they fall madly in love, proving opposites attract after all, and roll credits. Looks and sexual chemistry tick 2 important boxes, but dating experts are quick to point out that people with multiple shared interests have much greater odds of staying together. They don't have to agree on everything, but those with radically disparate backgrounds are often doomed. That is, unless Julia Roberts shows up on screen. In Pretty Woman, Roberts plays a hard-luck hooker who manages to snare a handsome, wealthy businessman, Richard Gere. A decade later, the Oscar-winning actress starred in Notting Hill, ostensibly portraying herself, and becomes smitten by a lovable but hopelessly ordinary bookshop owner played by rom-com regular Hugh Grant. In a juicy bit of trivia, Grant was arrested in 1995 for solicitation of a prostitute. Number 2. The Big Day. For something that has a 50-50 chance of ending in failure, marriage is a risky wager. Movies, however, present a more optimistic outlook, leading us to believe that weddings are the culmination of life's ultimate goal, to be celebrated with the same pomp and ceremony as the Olympics, World Cup, and Super Bowl Sunday, all rolled into one event. Just remember, folks, please gamble responsibly. Getting hitched is supposed to be a joyous event, bringing family and friends together for the big day. So, with love in the air, followed by food, drinks, and dancing, what could possibly go wrong? Well, everything. The silver lining, of course, is the bounty of theatrics from which filmmakers can draw to amuse us. Whether it's a fire-breathing bridezilla or a pair of fun-loving womanizers crashing the party, these tying-the-knot plots include Bride Wars, Bridesmaids, 7 Brides for 7 Brothers, The Wedding Planner, My Best Friend's Wedding, The Big Wedding, and My Big Fat Greek Wedding. Number 1. Fighting equals passion. Nobody wants to sit through a movie featuring 2 characters who blissfully agree on everything and never experience a moment of discord. As every hack screenwriter knows, conflict is an essential ingredient for creating drama and a compelling narrative. That said, tension between 2 lovers can be successfully depicted in many ways. Moonstruck is a good example, without having them scratch and claw at each other like alley cats for 2 hours straight. Fact, relationships can be challenging. Fiction, incessant fighting merely reflects a burning passion. Couples who constantly tussle will usually part ways and seek a less hostile mate. You know, just like bonobo apes do. Scientists Vanessa Woods and Brian Hare spent 15 years in Central Africa comparing bonobos to the more aggressive chimpanzees. Their findings were nothing short of astonishing. The landmark study makes a convincing argument that we might have entirely misunderstood Darwin's idea of survival of the fittest and the role of alpha males. Quote, "Bonobos have never been seen to kill another bonobo. The primates were able to successfully evolve by forming a society built on peacefully coexisting, especially young females. Acts of physical violence are simply not tolerated, and, quote, the friendliest males were the ones that had the most offspring because the females preferred them," adds Hare. So I really hope you found that video interesting. If you did, please do hit that thumbs up button below. Don't forget to subscribe, and thank you for watching.